Hello! Today we are weaving a cachepot. We've timed it to coincide with the 8th of March, International Women's Day. A traditional gift for this holiday is flowers. As for us, we are making such an unusual floral cachepot. While being very interesting and decorative looking, it is rather fast to weave. Such cachepots can be of different colors, either a bright highlight or just an addition to your interior, and different shapes. For demonstration, I've chosen such a small can as a base. As a result, we'll get this size of a cachepot. I'm going to weave a cachepot with no bottom. For this purpose I've already got such a lined form. This time I'm using a half-empty can of protective coating as a base. I adjust it by placing onto a can of a smaller diameter. Then I put some additional weight atop to make the process of weaving easier. The whole structure stands on a balance disc, which I often use. And I start weaving in a normal rope-like technique. The tubes are merely inserted. Moreover, they are not inserted deeply. I don't fasten them anyhow. I've merely made small holes for doubled, or as an option triple tubes to hold tightly. And there's one more essential point. The intervals between the tubes are rather big, 2 centimeters or even a little more, about 1 inch. This is essential for the final stage of the work. So far I start weaving a 2 or 3 tube rope in a normal way, and weave as many rows as needed for the height or rather width of a cachepot. I mean the height of the item will be the width of a cachepot, to fit the form you are planning to put inside. After having woven the workpiece of required height, I determine the required height by trying it onto a flower pot I'm going to place inside. Plus a tray underneath, this height of the item will be quite sufficient. As you understand, if you have a bigger flower pot, you'll have to weave the item higher. After this, I take the base out by pulling it away neatly. Got it? Now we've come to an interesting point. Let's take the needle seams aside. Now I pull one of the 2 poles up and the second one down. As a result, I'm getting doubled poles inside and single poles above and underneath the woven segment. Continue aligning the poles this way until the end of the row. Tuck in the tails at the beginning and at the end of the weaving to make it neat. fasten with a drop of glue. From one side, and let's tuck in neatly from the other side as well. The intervals between the poles have to be big enough for letting the tubes in smoothly. Well, it matters even more while trimming the edge than the beginning and the end of the weaving. Got it? Now the next stage, the main one. We are going to weave the so-called banding now. I take this pole and count 1, 2, 3, 4, bring it down toward the fifth one, bend, and tuck in. This is one of the possible options. The second option is just placing above and cutting off later. In the latter case it will look more natural, but I personally prefer tucking the tail in. Zap, tucked in, bring down the next pole, every time you tuck in from one side. Bring the pole down, bend. My tubes have been treated thoroughly so I don't moisten them. Zap. The big intervals between the poles let the tails in smoothly. Zap. Again, bend. Cut off, not too short. Here it goes in well enough even with no glue. Afterwards I'm going to strengthen it with varnish anyway. And so on. The openwork is getting created automatically. Let's continue. By now all the vacant cells have been occupied. Now I start laying over. Take a look, please. I try the pole on, bend, cut it, but this pole has to go under the previous one, otherwise the pattern will get broken. That's why I place it like this. The next pole goes here. Repeat all the same steps, try it on, bend, cut, and lead under two previous poles, according to the pattern. And tuck in neatly. Smoothen the workpiece. I've got two poles more left. Deal with them in the same way. Bend, cut, lead under all the previous poles, and tuck in here. I haven't moistened my tubes on purpose, since they have to look more natural, willow-like. The thorough treatment keeps them from cracking. And the last one, it goes here, under all the poles and here. That's all. I've created openwork from this side. If you remember, I've started with tucking the tail into the fifth cell. I've counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the pole to be tucked in. If you tuck in into the fourth or third gap, the openwork will be narrower. I mean, you can adjust it depending on how openwork you'd like the item to be and what you're going to fill the cachepot with. Repeat all the same actions for the opposite side. As a result, I've got such a cachepot. The only thing left is to make a handle. You can make handles of different types. I'm not going to focus on it. This handle has been woven based on the masterclass by Alona Bugrova. You can weave a braid like this. We've got such a masterclass. I'll enclose the link. My first attempt was fastening the handle from the sides, but I don't like this option much. That's why next time I've encircled the cachepot with a handle. I've wrapped the joint and fastened the handle to the cachepot. As a result, it looks as if having no joints, because the joint is hidden. I mean, you can make any type of a handle. And besides, you can create the item of any shape. By entwining a square form, I've created such a cachepot. I still have to make a handle for it. As an option, you can create a heart-shaped cachepot, which will be a very hearty gift. So I invite you to join me in improvising on such openwork cachepots. Moreover, the holiday is approaching, and this cachepot can be woven during one evening, so you do have some time in hand. I wish you further creative success.